Hi everyone, Heather Williams here with the California AfterSchool Network, and I'm excited to be co-hosting with Michael Funk another Fireside Chat. And these next few Fireside Chats we have are extra special because we get to spend time with our Lights On Afterschool Leadership Awardees. So I know, Michael, this is one of your favorite times of the year to get to even just call all of our awardees, let them know that they've received this nomination. And back on a few weeks ago, October 26th, it was the 24th National Lights On Afterschool celebration. So folks, not just in California, but all across the country, were celebrating in all sorts of ways. But one particular way we were celebrating here in California was a virtual celebration with our Expanded Learning Leadership Awardees. And so we got to award a group of really wonderful humans for their leadership and expanded learning. But we heard a lot about them and why they are so awesome, but we didn't really get to hear from them. So we use these fireside chats to learn more about them, hear their stories and their leadership and why they were selected as leaders. So really excited to have three of our leaders on today. And we'll just start with some basic introductions. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your role, where you work, maybe a little bit about the students you work with, and then we'll jump into our chat. So CJ, I'll kick it off to you. I'll start with you and then have you pass it off to the next person.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Crystal Joe, aka CJ. I am the ASES Program Director here at the Boys and Girls Club of Westminster. I work with 9th through 12th graders. I've got a program coordinator and 3 frontline staff that I supervise. And I have been in expanded learning since 2009, all with the same organization, Boys and Girls Club of Westminster. And super happy to be here. And I will pass it to Anna.
Thank you, CJ. Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Parada. I am the after-school coordinator here at Pathways to College K-8 in Hesperia. I work with students TK to 8th grade. I have been with Pathways as their coordinator since 2008 when they started with their ASES grant. And I've been in expanded learning for, I think we're going on to 11 years now. It's been a wonderful experience working with all these students, all these grade levels. These past so many years with middle school has been a journey, and it's an adventure that continues to grow with us. And I will go ahead and pass it on to Rahele.
Good morning. My name is Rahele Atabaki, and I am the director here at Washington Unified School District in West Sacramento. I am the director of the new teacher induction, the after school program, expanded learning program, and the TK preschool early childhood education programs. I've been with the expanded learning ASES program since 2015 with our district, and it has been definitely a journey. Out of all the programs that I run, this one has been the most exciting.
Well, welcome to all of you. And if you're watching this and you're wondering, why does this Lights On After School, but these folks keep saying expanded learning? What does that mean? Like, what's going on? In California, many years ago, we adopted a definition of expanded learning in the education code, excuse me, to mean basically out of school time. It's after school, before school, summer, intersession. But it's not so much a time and a place. And that's what, like, after school, by just listen to the word. I mean, it's a time and it's a place, and it's after school. It kind of separates us from the school day. And we just really embrace the fact that children learn everywhere they are with whomever they're with. And we take it very seriously that the time that we spend with our young people expands their learning from what they receive during the instructional day. And you three you've got some track record. I've got you beat. I've got more years than you and less hair, but got you beat. And but you've all been in it a while, and you've seen some dramatic changes here in California. I mean, I honestly can't believe where we're at in California now with the money, but we often talk about the money, and it's really our greatest treasure is the people. And Rahele, I'm going to toss it to you. What brought you to this work? And you said it's like the most exciting part of your job. What about you personally? Is that story, and why is this work so meaningful to you?
I'm gonna beat your gray hair right now and tell you I'm been in this business for a long time. So back in the 90s, I was a student at Sac State. I used to go, I was in the BMed program. The program was geared towards sending new teachers to these schools that were Title I and had needs, and they sent me to for my student teaching. I was sent to Washington Unified to a school called Westfield. And the minute I got here, it was just like I was home. I love the community, the families. It's predominantly Spanish speaking immigrant families, especially back 26 years ago. I commute an hour every day to get here for the past 25 years because I love this place. So I ended up staying at that school for 11 years, teaching kindergarten, and later on teaching first grade. But the district was asking me to be a coach and join the district office and go to the dark side. So I ended up coming to the district office as the new teacher induction coordinator, mentor, and the after school program was just handed to me as not really it was like, we have this program with after school, can you manage the grant? So it wasn't like I got to know the program slowly by managing the grant and getting into the schools to see what's happening. And our program's managed by the city of West Sacramento and the YMCA and Champions. So we have different partners, and we have created an amazing partnership with the city of West Sacramento. Because of this after school program, we're really like family. And it's been up and down. I remember the $8 a day where we were trying to fight for that extra dollar so we could do more for the kids. And when I say it's exciting for me is this opportunity that we've gotten now with the money, where I could do all the things that I really wanted to do in the past 10 years, bringing all the enrichment to the kids, expanding the program to so many families who are on a wait list. We had families waiting for the entire kindergarten to 8th grade, waiting on a wait list to get into the program. So the ability to be able to get all those kids in, and the families, we have families calling us crying and saying, you don't know how you have changed our life by providing this to us. Even this past summer, where we provided the entire summer, it was from 7 o'clock to 5:30, and parents some of them could not believe that they're getting all of this, all these enrichments and the childcare in a safe space for their kids. So that's really exciting for me.
That's a very powerful story, and just I'm assuming you've been able to do that with the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program funding.
Yes.
We're in our 3rd year, yeah.
Yes, for sure.
It really is. I'm so glad you just brought forth the expression of what this means to the families, and how powerful that is. I think we're in a period of time where there are still some people in California who are reluctant to dive in. It's not it's too much work or something. And I just appreciate you bringing forth how much this has been transformative for the community, the school district, and your families there in West Sacramento. So we'll hear more from you in a bit. So Anna, TK through middle school, and you made a little mention of how adventurous middle school is. I've spent about 20 years in a one of our programs in San Francisco was a middle school program. And I was just at a middle school program in Modesto City Unified yesterday and had this long conversation about kind of the magic of middle school programs, what you can do. But first, before we talk about your program, tell us about you and your path to this work and what it means to you.
Absolutely, thank you. So I've come full circle in my journey. Coming into after school. When I was younger, I was in about second grade. I started helping a kindergarten teacher at my elementary, and I helped her throughout my entire elementary years. I've been in education since I was 16, working as a part-time as an office aide, and was able to do office work for a while. In 2013, I was able to step into the role for expanded learning. The opportunity came up and I decided, let me go ahead and give it a shot and see what it's like being in the classroom. I started off as an instructor in the class, moved up to a coordinator position, and the rest has been history, and yet more to come. And now I am an aspiring teacher, so currently going for my bachelor's in liberal studies. Working with expanded learning has really given me the opportunity and just more what is it, the desire, and just has grown my passion, reawakened, if you will, to work with students and to really be that influence and that role model for them. And working with my TK to 8th grade, with all my middle schoolers even, definitely a challenge, but it has been a wonderful journey so far, and just continuing to grow from there.
And what an amazing teacher you're going to be. I mean, I think of our expanded learning kind of culture, which is so centered on whole child and relationship and support and creating the conditions for kids to thrive. And I know that's what you'll bring to your classroom, is that creating the conditions for kids to be in relationship with you. What was your catalyst for wanting to move from expanded learning into the instructional day?
It's something I miss. As a coordinator, running the program, it's completely different now, being behind the scenes, getting everything prepped for the students. Definitely the creative freedom that we have to be able to experience these engaging hands-on activities with our students is something, beyond what I ever imagined. And now, like I said, it's reawakened a passion where I would like to bring that into the classroom, work with the students again, be hands-on with them, just interacting again with the kids and getting them prepared for their future, and seeing where the future takes them.
So yesterday at Modesto City, Tony Lamelli, who we've had on the Fireside chats before with some of his team, they hosted a site visit with legislative staff and Department of Finance staff and State Board of Education staff and a whole bunch of folks. And in his presentation, he mentioned that I'm going to mess up the details, but he does some part-time teaching in a credentialing program, and he's making the case and trying to make the case that anyone who has had a number of years coordinating a large expanded learning program already has the skill set they need to be an assistant principal. They've got it. And I'm just wondering if you could say a word about how your work in not only doing expanded learning, but managing and coordinating the program, what kind of skills has that brought to you as you're now in preparation for the teacher credentialing? And what do you see as, oh yeah, I know how to do that already?
I feel that when it comes to, that aspect, working with the students, the lesson planning, the skills that I've learned there, the coordinating the schedule for the students, making sure we're all on task. As far as, additional from there, managing behaviors in program is always something that's a challenge, but it's something that we learn. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given through the San Bernardino County with leadership trainings and additional supports from, our expanded learning team there, where I've been able to grow and learn more and be able to better handle situations, not just with my students, but with my staff as well. And I feel those experiences going into the classroom will definitely help me manage my kiddos, any age range that I get.
Yeah, great. Well, we've clearly seen areas of the state that have been very intentional about using expanded learning as an intentional pipeline for a career in education. It might be a teacher, it might be a counselor, it might be some other role, but for a career as an educator within the K-12 system. And of course, we believe that if you're an expanded learning community educator, you're already in the educational system as an educator. So CJ, last but not least, you are in the frontier of high school students, and what a special place that is. Tell us about your journey and what brought you to the work.
All right. I'm one of those crazy people who absolutely loves high schoolers and teenagers. I actually started in a middle school in expanded learning. So back up. In 2009, I answered a Craigslist ad for an after-school youth development professional at the Boys and Girls Club. I had my bachelor's in music therapy and thought, how could I use music therapy with these middle schoolers? So ended up running choir and piano and guitar. So that was really, really fun, but ended up working my way up as an assistant coordinator. And then the following year, I was promoted to a site director of an elementary school, which I absolutely loved. Little kids are magical. And there I met a family who was really, really struggling. And I wanted to be able to help them more. One of the parents was a drug addict, and the kids did not have a stable environment. And I wanted to know what I could do. So I took a little break and went and got my master's degree in social work and decided I'm going to come back and change the world. And while I was in my master's program, I learned so much about neurobiology and brain development and where our teens are that I just said, I have to work with high schoolers. I have to be that person that, I didn't have in my life. So after I got my master's, came back, and the Boys and Girls Club had just received the ASES grant. So it was a great time for me to come back into the field, and I got to basically create an ASES program from the ground up. We were already funded, but the previous coordinator was not involved as much anymore. So anyways, I got to design this magical program where I got to decide what type of staff I wanted to hire and how we were going to really create that safe and supportive environment, and really, really, really use the education that I have to make sure that our staff understand exactly what our kids are going through and why the behaviors are why they are, and all of that magical good stuff. So we're now applying for a third grant cycle. So it'll be, we've done the ASES program for 10 years. I absolutely love working with teens. And through the SSEL, I was invited to work with the symposium planning team for the site coordinator symposium that California AfterSchool Network puts together. And I have just had a blast getting to know all of the fabulous humans that work with CAN and ASAP and all of the other leaders in our field. Like, I have just spent the last couple of years just trying to absorb every opportunity available to me. We are greater than the sum of our parts. We're all better together. And there is so much knowledge in the field that I want to keep learning and keep growing. And I hope to inspire my staff and my students by doing the same thing. I'm a really, really huge firm believer in walking the walk and talking the talk. So, I talk about self-care, and I make sure that I'm doing self-care. I talk about, making sure that we're all taking care of each other and, really being there both for our staff and our students. Because if we are expecting our students to be responsible, caring, productive humans, then we have to model that for them. So that's a little bit about me and where I am and my passion and why I love high schoolers so much and why I will always be the face of, and where's the funding for high school?
Yeah, we're hearing that. So your story, you were in relationship with a family that was struggling with addiction, kids that needed support. You took action to build your own capacity, become a social worker. You hear the social work heart come through as you talk. Very powerful. So recently, Heather and I and some others have been in dialogue with the Center for the Developing Adolescent out of UCLA, which is focusing on, these are incredibly talented neuroscientists who are looking at brain development that takes place in kids 10 to 24. But that's what they're considering adolescent for the brain development. And they talk about the folks advocating for brain development and neuroscience study for 0 to 3 have done such a good job that people started to think that, well, when a kid gets to high school, we're just going to pray and hope they survive through it as they frontal lobe misfires. But in fact, it's the opposite, that high school is a phenomenally rich and abundant period of time for neurological maturity and growth. And the folks at the Center for Developing Adolescent talk about the fact that what high school expanded learning programs do is exactly what our research has shown that fuels the neuroscience and the neurological development. Like, one of the things that stood out to me is teens need a safe place to try new things and fail and then try again. So I see that nod. You've studied it. What do you see as you do your programs? What do you see?
I have seen such a difference in the kids that I worked with pre-pandemic and the kids that are coming into our program now. The brain development, that prefrontal cortex definitely has it's been a little bit delayed. So we're seeing that a lot of behaviors, and I know it's not just the high school programs, it's across the board, it's across all education. Our kids, they lost out on a couple of years of really good development with social skills, with that all those neural pathways, all of that stuff. So I think it's even more important that we provide what we do now. Like, we have to make sure that we are really, really providing that safe and supportive environment for those kids to fail and learn that it's okay to fail, and learn that it's more about what you do after you fail, or owning your mistakes, and really making sure that I can't stress it enough, walking the walk and talking the talk. Like, if we want our kids to be better, we have to be better. So it starts with us. It starts from the top down.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to open it up. I'm sure as we've been talking, other things have come to mind, Rahele and Anna, that you might want to chime in with. Just open it up for a minute.
I agree with CJ, just with the difference that we've seen as far as our students, like she said, pre-pandemic and now post, working with these TK to 8th grade students over here. I mean, some of these kids, this is their first year, this is maybe their second, third year, and it's just the difference now coming in to school itself and then working with them in after school. It is that additional support that we're trying to give them to be able to develop those skills that they may have missed out on. It's getting them more engaged, getting them more out there, just to not be afraid to live a little, now that they're back out in the world.
And since we're speaking of the pandemic, that reminded me of what we had to do here with the after school program, we had to make a shift and just think on the fly of, well, how are we going to support these families and children during the pandemic with the essential workers having to go to work while school is out. So we changed the program to start at 7 I think, or 7:30 it started, and we were able to support those kids during the height of the pandemic. We were open. Students were coming in and they were attending their online classes from the school sites. We had even some of our own teachers needed their kids to be in a program so they could teach online. So there was a lot going on at that time, and we were able to accommodate all of them and feed the kids and make sure they're safe. And it was a huge challenge. That was when the vaccine wasn't available, and we weren't sure what's happening, but at least we knew that the kids that needed a place to go had a place. They were being fed. They were getting, that support that was needed. So when you said pandemic, that reminded me of that.
Well, you all have been in the expanded learning field for a while now, pre-COVID, through COVID, as we're navigating all of the ramifications of COVID, when our reimbursement rate was very low and we were struggling to get more dollars, to now having an influx of funding to serve most of our students. But I think, you all were nominated as leaders, not because you come in and it's easy and you're just doing this job and you've done a good job at it, but because our field navigates a lot of complexity and difficulties, and you all have been here throughout that. And so whether it was something in COVID, before COVID, or now as we're responding to all that came up from COVID, I think it would be great to end with just sharing some of your own leadership advice as you've gone through your journey. What leadership lessons have you learned? And I know you've learned a lot because you were nominated for and selected as awardees. And so for folks who are in similar roles or thinking about moving into similar roles, what are some of the things that you've learned that you would want to share with other folks in our field across the state? And I'll open it up to whoever wants to kick us off.
I'll go. I kind of already said it, but definitely taking advantage of all of the opportunities that are presented to you. I can't tell you how much I've grown and learned from my involvement with SSEL. I was nominated to be from my work with the symposium. I was nominated to be part of the technical assistance fellows for the School of Leadership and Facilitation with ASAP Connect. So if you are not a part of the CAN or ASAP Connect family, make sure you're signing up for all of those things and make sure that you get connected, because I cannot tell you how much knowledge and amazing humans that I have encountered just from being in these spaces with these other people. Surround yourself with like-minded people, surround yourself with people who are just as passionate as you are, and just keep trying to do your best. Be the best that you can be with what you have, when you are, where you are, and know that you're gonna make it. You're gonna be okay.
Thanks, CJ. And one of the other things you said earlier that I want to highlight that I think is really important advice is that it's not just about the students, right? It's about our staff, and it starts at the top too. And so the investment, we can't show up for our students if we don't take care of our staff and our adults. So I think that was another piece of advice you kind of snuck in there a little bit. So Anna or Rahele, are there anything you all want to add?
Absolutely. Like CJ said, taking those opportunities as they come, just going for it, trust your gut, try it. I mean, being in this position, it's not easy, but it is very rewarding, and it is an opportunity that I will be forever grateful for, and that is leading you know, for people like me, leading me down another path to now being in the classroom, furthering my education, being again that role model for those students, showing them that it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still keep going. You know, it's just taking that leap, taking that opportunity, and going for it.
I'm just gonna piggyback on what Anna and CJ said. Taking a chance and an opportunity, taking the opportunity, I think has been the biggest lesson for me personally. And this past year, I know that I was at Boost last year when I heard Michael say, you know, take a chance. I was in that room and he was saying some of the districts are not taking advantage of this money, and we did take a chance, and I think it really paid off. It was scary, you know, the program plan wasn't out, and there was a lot of little challenges, but I think thinking outside the box has really helped our students and families, and to take advantage of the program. So that would be my advice. Take a chance.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again to the three of you, and congratulations again. It's a very well-deserved recognition for your leadership, and my hometown is Hesperia, so I was very excited to hear that we had representation this year from there. But CJ, you have mentioned a couple times the SSEL, and so for folks watching, you hopefully know what that is, but if you don't, that's our system of support for expanded learning, and it's made up of folks from the CAN team and the ASAP Connect team, as well as our regional teams that have CBE staff and county office staff. And those regional teams are actually the folks that selected our winners this year. And really, you know, they see you. This wasn't a random like, oh, we got to put someone down, but I had a lot of them reach out and like, we want to select so many people because they truly recognize, you know, they see the work you're doing day in and day out and want to recognize your leadership and the work you're doing. And so again, just a huge thank you for the work you do. This is a very small token of appreciation for that work. And so with that, Michael, I'll turn it over to you for any last words before we sign off.
Well, I could have this conversation the rest of the morning. I love talking to you three, and Heather, thank you for always being an amazing host for these fireside chats. It means a lot, Rahele, when you like repeat back something I said months and months ago and took it to heart. But I see all three of you leading with heart and leading with courage. And I think that was some of the message. If you remember that Boost State of Expanded Learning Town Hall was, it's not just leading with love, but it's leading with courage. And it's having the courage and the wisdom to take another step, even if you're not sure what you're going to step on or where your foot's going to land. So the three of you are inspiring. You've inspired me today. You're doing such great work, and you're modeling what it means to lead with love and courage. So congratulations on the award. It's a symbol that is not adequate to express appreciation and recognition for CJ. You said going to come back and change the world. Well, the three of you are doing that every day, one day at a time. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.